I'm James Douglas Coen, and I had two heroes growing up. First was my Uncle Doug, who volunteered for service during the worst part of the Vietnam War and served in a most dangerous role, a tunnel rat. He was a fighter, a warrior, a man's man. Unfortunately, he lost his battle to ALS 6 years ago. The second and most significant was my father, James Allen Coen. He too served in the military and was even a drill sergeant, which meant he was strong and his voice carried with authority. But if you knew him, you found out under that intimidating voice was a mischievous streak that loved to laugh. Dad was diagnosed with diabetes early in life, and as such, had many struggles because of his condition. Additionally, he had essential tremors, and later in life, we found out that our family is one of only a handful of families in the world that has both essential tremors and Parkinson's disease. But Dad never let his health dictate his life, and he was involved in my sister and my life and encouraged us to work hard and achieve our goals. As I grew up, I found out that I loved science and math, and I determined I would become a geneticist and find a cure for diabetes so I could help my father, the warrior, defeat his enemy. When I was in junior high, I was confronted with a battle of my own that no child should ever have to endure. I was determined to fight this battle on my own for two reasons. First, my father always swore he would kill any person who harmed one of his children, and I was determined not to lose my father in that way. Second, I was determined to prove I was a man and a warrior just like my heroes. This was a mistake because from that point on, I struggled with issues of inadequacy and even suicide. I began to think I was not a real man because I was not strong like my father or my uncle. I even began to wonder if maybe I was homosexual or worse, that I was not good enough to carry on my family name. 40 some years later, I revealed this battle to my father, who broke down and cried and apologized that he was not able to help me with my battle. But I share this story now because it explains why I cherish Rick Springfield's song of tribute to his father entitled My Father's Chair. In this song, one verse says, "And the far distant future, when I knew you'd be gone, came too fast and stays too long. Why do they leave the weak of spirit and take the strong?" This verse spoke to my situation. I was weak, Dad was strong, and due to his health, one day too soon, he would be taken from me. Now, I find myself in the role of the patriarch of our family, and it seems that God has chosen in his wisdom to leave the weaker spirit behind. This is important because Dad was special. He always said his mind worked different from everyone else, a reference to his odd sense of humor that he passed on to his children. Dad never wanted a traditional funeral or memorial service. He wanted a wake with old-time rock and roll and laughter. I'm sure he knew there would be tears shed, but most important thing to him was that the joy and laughter he brought into our lives would continue beyond his mortal existence. So ultimately, any memorial of this wonderful man must include laughter, because his life brought us so much joy, and he wanted us to celebrate his life. And I, as the patriarch of our family, may not be as strong as him, but I will give my hero the tribute he wanted and deserves.
My father's chair's still standing there, all alone since the long night. Now it's 3 years on, and I still feel he'll come home, we'll be alright. So where's this healing time brings? I was told the pain would ease, but it still hurts like the first night. That night my brother, my mother and I at a distant star and wishing we could reach that far. And back in the house and alone for the first time, we told each other we cared, and we avoided my father's chair. I watch my family, we hold on, we are strong, and we'll be alright. The clock continues counting down all the while, and every child will share the long night. But do the spirits meet again? Why am I still so filled with doubt? Is my soul everlasting? In the far distant future, when I knew you'd be gone, came too fast and stays too long. Why do they leave the weak of spirit and take the strong? When the world turns sour and I get sick from the smell, and I can find no comfort there, I climb into my fire